What's up, degenerates? Welcome along to a preview of what a weekend's racing, the 𝗏𝗏 July Cup meeting getting underway, and really looking forward to it. And joining me, as always, 𝗃𝗍𝗆. Joe, what a weekend in store. Are you excited about what's to come?
Yeah, fascinating racing, isn't it? Big opportunities for everyone. And yeah, looking forward to it, getting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we're going to start on the big one, lads, and work our way back. We have picked out a few races, definitely some interesting ones. There is other races we mightn't get to touch on, but we will touch on them if we have an opinion in our daily tips videos. Right, Joe, I'm going to come to you first. The July Cup, we have Perfect Power heading to bet in an absolute airplane. We have the Aussies represented. We have Charlie Appleby double-handed. We have Hugo Palmer, Flaming Rib. I think Aidan O'Brien has one. Ryan Moore heads out to the States, though, and I see 𝗵𝗔𝗇𝗏 booked to ride there.
Yeah, I like Flaming Rib here, to be honest with you. It's just the way the draw has gone now. I do think, obviously, Perfect Power is the horse to beat. But if you look at the draw, Happy Romance is drawn 1. Flaming Rib is drawn 2. Happy Romance a hold up horse. Black Twilight Jet usually takes the lead. Black Rod takes the lead. Double Your Bubble takes the lead. The Japan horse, the unknown quantity. But it's hard to see him moving forward. Romantic Proposal is a hold up horse as well. And then you have drawn in 7. And then you have Perfect Power drawn in 8. I do think this could be a massive chance for Ben Curtis to ride his first ever Group 1 winner. He has rode a Group 3 winner in the past. Of course, he tied the apprentice jockeyship there in Ireland. What was it, 2010 or something like that? I think he did. Three boys finished on the same score: Gary Carroll, Joseph Bryan, Ben Curtis. Obviously, Ben has come over to England, and he's a fantastic jockey. He really lords it up the north of England, and this is a big chance for him to get a Group 1.
Yeah, it's definitely an intriguing race. Because as you said, Perfect Power, I love the horse. He's the best horse in the race. There's no doubt about it. But this July Cup, it's hard to win with his run style in a race like this. Previous years as well, many horses have been on the pace, are very handy. So I'm sure 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏 won't take any chances. He won't. Well, I hope if he rides them as cold as he can ride them in a track like Ascot, it will be bad news for Perfect Power. I think he'd be storming home when the race is over. But I do hope he can just get him out and just for this one race, ask him a question or two to sit behind the pace. You know, rather than sitting, letting him do that normal, comfy sit back, because the pace, this race isn't full of pace.
There's just not that much pace around him. You know, the horses drawn either side of him like to be held up as well. So I'm taking a chance that Flaming Rib can bang out from stall 2 and maybe grab 2 or 3 handy lengths early on. And now he does have a few lengths to make up on Perfect Power, obviously, from Ascot. But as you say, it's a different track. It's a different setup. He can grab that standside rail. Ben can kick there 2 down, and he might take an awful lot of catching at around 7 or 8 to 1.
He's definitely going to run well. I think everything sets out. You see, Romantic Proposal's a classy horse, but the same as Perfect Power a bit. We'll come into it very late. Creative Force might be able to go say handy. He normally does, but he was beaten in it last year, finished 5th. Alcohol Free coming back to it. Look, she's a good mare. I couldn't have her. Happy Romance, interesting outsider. Twilight Jet, definitely a horse he was lucky for me once or twice, but you know, he'll run a race. Double or Bubble outsider. The Japanese horse can go forward. It has made the running. Black Bear, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, it's
the Aussie horse. Well, let's not forget about the Aussie horse. Jamie Spencer, right?
The Aussie horse takes his time as well. So we're just trying to find the horses that are going to have the advantage first. So obviously, we're going to have Flaming Rib and probably Creative Force. The likes of them might be just right, you know, right on it. Maybe I know Creative Force can take a lead, but he doesn't take a big lead. He'd be just behind them. You know what I mean? It's a very intriguing race. Emiratiana might go forward. Twilight Jet might actually go forward because of the race on the day. Anyway, look, it is what it is. I think everything's against Perfect Power, but I do think if 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏 doesn't be sleeping, he'll still win. I think he's just too good. What he done in Ascot was he didn't win. He absolutely murdered them. He was on the bridle at the furlong pole, Christophe Soumio's arse cocked in the ear on one of the stiffest tracks in racing. You don't see it. You just don't see it in the sprint. And then not only that, but this was the impressive part. How many times have you seen a jockey come there with that wait, arse in the ear style, but then actually find what he found? He took off. You know what I mean? He didn't just, like, it's funny, he cruised into it really good, but he went out through the line like a stayer that was only getting going, you know. So look, it is what it is. He's the best horse in the race, but he has it all to do with the makeup of the race. And I do see your opinion.
I do think if he was drawn near pace, fast pace early on, he'd be a strong bet for this. But it's just the fact, the way the race is after working out now, that he's not opposable as such, but at the prices, I'm happy to take him on.
Well, geez, he's definitely not opposable with his record over 6 furlongs. Sure, he's probably one of the best 6 furlong horses in the world, you know.
Yeah, no, it's true, yeah.
You know, look, for me, it's quite simple. If Christophe Soumio gets him out and gets into a decent position, I think he'd definitely take all the beating. But I can't see ways he can lose. So, look, we won't go on it all the time. Flaming Rib, definitely an interesting horse, has to improve to beat the favourite. The Aussie is definitely interesting as well. To be honest, lads, it's not a race to go mad on. Enjoy it and see how you get on. But maybe Flaming Rib, as you were saying, Joe, if you really think he's going to get everything go his way, it could be an absolute cracking straight place bets and each way bets. You know, you could look into a lot of the markets, you know, even
without the favourite, Paddy. You go back and take Perfect Power out of the race. Perfect Power is the best horse in this race, but take him out of the race and you might be getting 7 to 2, 4 to 1 for your money then, you know.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. He's been very progressive through the ranks too, Flame Rib. So we'll go for the reverse forecast, lads. All right, we'll move on. Right, let's see what happens. But like I said, don't go crazy on it because there's money to be got elsewhere this weekend. Right, Joe, the Bunbury Cup. I'll let you have the first word. I have an interest in 2 horses here. I'm a bit sorry the one trainer didn't do something. I'll come to that in a second, but she did do something maybe better. We'll come to that. Go to you first.
Okay, I've always loved this 𝗏𝗏𝗃, and the fact that if we'll find out today, I suppose, where the draw works out. But again, this is drawn fairly low. The winner of the last year's race, 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏, who won it. That was his 2nd year in a row to win, actually. He was drawn 3. He did end up in the middle of the track. It was a classy enough horse for Richard Hannon. I think this horse is classy for William Haggas tomorrow. And, you know, there's a lot of hold-up horses beside him as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Kieran Fallon just let him use his stride. It's only 7 furlongs. He stay out well. And, you know, to take out what happened last time, he got caught for room in Royal Ascot. First time he was ever beaten, but ran an absolute cracker. Finishing off his race really strong. I'm hoping Kieran hops him out handy here and just rides him like the best horse in the race. And I think he could be, you know, he's no bargain at the price, I suppose, 7 to 2, 4 to 1 in a big handicap like that. But I do think he's classy enough to win this. And, you know, I don't want to be taking him on. I'm going to have something small on him.
Right, very good words then for the favourite. Definitely brilliant trainer, brilliant young jockey. I want to come to a horse that I'm really annoyed the trainer didn't claim off, but when I see who's riding it, I can understand too. But 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 is a horse in here. I keep every time they run this horse in the handicap, I'm roaring like, why the F haven't they put a Harry Davis on it, a Ben White Dennis? This horse just is a very, very decent horse. But he's running great races, and I just always get the feeling if he had the good 5-pound claimer on it, it might just get him across the line. In Ascot the last day, he arrived there a little bit soon, but ran a massive race. I think he's a really nice horse. Christophe Soumio is tailor-made for him. However, he's got a big weight in a decent race against a lot of unexposed horses. But he is only 4. And I do think he's will be definitely a group horse in the making in time. He's such a big horse. But anyway, Christophe Soumio rides him. I look at him in the each way market. And I want to give a shout out to El Bandito, James Horton, a trainer that been very lucky for us there the last kind of few months when he first started out with that big treble up in Redcar and things like that. And El Bandito is unexposed. Yes, he got beat the last day, but he's coming in form. He's got a lightweight and just at a nice price. He could run well for a good young trainer. So that's it. I'm not
just one word on Jumbie, if you don't mind, Paddy. Yeah, there's no doubt he's a good horse and exceptional turn of foot when he's on it. But one time I remember, could have been Newmarket actually. He got into this habit of being very, very slowly away. He can be slow away, and that's a small little niggle I'd have with him now. But good horse.
He's done it to me in the past. He's done it to me. It is a little worry. But he is a hold-up horse anyway. So as long as he doesn't over-miss it, but he did do it to me the one day, I remember, and he came home. He actually ran very well under the circumstances, but he had to work very hard to get into it, and then he just flattened out late. But they have stepped him up in trip again from 6. So hopefully he doesn't exaggerate that, and he can just get out in an efficient manner. It is something to worry about, of course. Right, we're going to touch on the Superlative Stakes, Joe. Some interesting horses here, some big reputations. The Charlie Appleby horse has been punted off the board now. I think he's into 6-4. Are you with him at 6-4, or would you give any of the other horses a chance? Because it is a formidable stable.
I thought it was a big performance by Brian Means, Isaac's Shelby at Newbury. First time out. Brian's horses don't usually come on a ton further run, and I'd respect that. The horse that was third at the Stormbuster came out since and finished third behind a Godolphin horse called One Nation. Now, One Nation, as I say, is a Godolphin horse and was entered for this race, but they have picked Victory Dance here. And I think that, it could be very significant indeed. They had, Godolphin have serious young horses, obviously, year in, year out. They had 4 entered for this. One Nation was one of them. They said to leave him and go with Victory Dance. You'd have to respect the Mark Johnson trained horse as well. Line of War, 2 from 2 so far. He's done nothing wrong. He's by Roaring Line, obviously, a very good horse there a few years ago. But all in all, Godolphin don't kick too many wides when it comes to this race. An unbelievable record in it. And they ran one of the best horses, Native Trail, in it last year. So Victory Dance, you'd have to respect them picking this horse for this particular race.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I was going with Isaac Shelby just at the value, but the problem is when we were doing this morning, he was 7-1. He's thumped into 100-30. So I'm written down here, Isaac Shelby 7-1. I would take a little bit of value, but obviously someone else has took it. So he's into 100-30 now. Obviously, markets would shorten up closer to the race, but I don't know now. Maybe for me, it's a race to just watch. But I thought he was very impressive in Newbury on a week when was very hitting after 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 passed away. You know, the Sangster colours, for famous colours in the past. And look, he's an interesting horse, and Line of War was very good twice. Could do no more. It's a hard race, and whatever wins, it'll be a very good horse, and that's for sure.
Absolutely.
It's more of a watch and brief for next season, I think, lads. But I'll take a little chance that the Godolphin horse is definitely very, very solid. But I'll go with the Shelby horse, the Isaac Shelby. As you alluded to, Brian Means horses can step forward a giant step from debut as well.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to go back now to an interesting handicap over 1 mile and 6, the Bet365 Trophy. Some really intriguing horses. This is on Friday, Joe, right? 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah. So a very good horse for me, Candleford. I marked him up the last day in Ascot as a horse that could really step forward this year, but I didn't back him because of the draw. He was out in 17 or 18, and what does he go and do? Absolutely bolts in, and it was painful to watch because the notes I had was put this horse away, get him next year. And then they went to Kempton and they got the win with him, but he was raw. You know, he finished the season with I think a second win on the all-weather, but I knew when he came back this year, I knew he was going to be serious. He's got a fair hike in the weights. Can he pull it off with a 13-pound hike, or are you with someone else?
Yeah, he did get a good old hike. You did, in fairness to you, you had this horse earmarked as one to follow from a long way out. Remember, even when he got beat there at Kempton one time, you were all over him, and he came out the next time and sauntered home. And then, as you said, they were happy with the handicap mark, waited for Royal Ascot, and the plan went perfectly. Up 13 pound, you could say it's fair enough. You know, he absolutely dollied up. There is a horse here I'm going to chance at a big price. HMS President. I thought he'd done plenty wrong last time at Goodwood. and still managed to win. He's getting a stone off Candleford. Will it be enough? I'm not sure. He's a horse that was always, he's thereabouts a lot of the time. He's consistent, and at 16 or 20 to 1, I'm going to have something very small on him. I wouldn't be surprised if the favourite won. There might be something else lurking there, but it's not a race I'll be getting too heavily involved in. But I'm going to have something small each way on HMS Warhorse.
HMS President.
HMS President, sorry.
A nice big price, and I'm sure you'll get plenty of places. Candleford, obviously, as we alluded to, a really progressive horse. Always thought he'd improve. He has got a big hike, and now he'll have to be as good as I think he is to win this. I am going to stick with him, but I am going to say there's an each-way selection for me here. 𝗉𝗂𝗄𝗏. 𝗉𝗂𝗏 is, although it was in Philip Hobbs's for long enough, messing around over jumps. It's over a Monju mare, and it's by 𝗉𝗂𝗏. So has done nothing wrong on the flat so far. It kicked off the season with a decent run behind 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 in Salisbury. He went on and franked the form, won 3 in a row after that. He then was second in the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 plate, the good horse 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃. So I just think that 𝗉𝗂𝗏, who knows? A point each way. He's unexposed on the flat. We just don't know. Contact.
Big time, yeah.
You know, Contact is a nice horse for 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, but I got the juice out of him when he won in Haydock, was it? Yeah, we tipped him up anyway when he won. And I just think maybe 𝗉𝗏𝗏 each way could be lively. Candleford, the classy horse in the race. I'm surprised. Where's the jock gone that rode him in Ascot last year when he was third? He didn't wait. He gone. That rode Adam Farrier. He rode him last year. Is he still right?
I presume he would be. Yeah, I remember he was with Haggis there all this season. I'm not too sure where he's gone now, but he was handy for his £5 claim there, wasn't he?
He rode him, but I really would have liked him to see him maybe get back on Candleford, but maybe he's not with the stable. I don't know. But he forgot his weight got one day in Ascot, and we had him each way in one of the races. But anyway, whatever, they threw him out, but the bookies actually did pay out on it, because when I went in, your man said no, it's still live, so that was a good thing on the place.
That was all right.
Right, Candleford, definitely a lively one. Has to improve again off the back of a dynamite win, but could be. But I think 𝗉𝗏𝗏 is a cracking each way bet. Spirit Mixer's done nothing wrong, really progressive 4-year-old. And another horse that's been lucky for me, Summer's Night. He did maybe struggle a bit on his first couple of runs this season, but you know, he always looked to be pretty decent at times. Anyway, we're going to move on now, Joe, to a listed race for the fillies. And by Jesus, take your pick in this. There are some really, really nice fillies in this. It's a Duchess of Cambridge Stakes. The top 3 in the betting here. Very, very impressive. I thought the 𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 lost nothing in the feet. Maj, was it, or however you pronounce it?
Yeah, second to Media there, right last.
Second to Media, and this 𝗏𝗏𝗏 looks really decent as well. Beat a nice filly of 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃, and then you have the filly who's very solid at the top of the betting, who was second in Ascot as well. Is Michael Bell's filly? Is it Maylancy?
Maylancy, yeah, she'll be my selection. But it's just interesting that Maj, you mentioned him there. She was second. The horse who finished third there, Ivory Madonna, she's running now in a few minutes at Newmarket. So we might be able to learn something from that. Just looking there, she's very solid in the market there. Yeah, but I can't get away from this Maylancy. David Egan and Michael Bell got close enough to Dramatized, who's an absolute machine for Carl Burke. And, you know, to have the ability to do that. I'm not getting the clearest runs either. She finished about a length and a half away from Dramatized. I think that's outstanding form here, and I do think that I'd be confident Maylancy can get it done. And if Ivory Madonna was beaten here in the first race at Newmarket, I can see Maylancy's price detracting, going, you know, getting hammered altogether. Looks very, very good horse for who's them owners again? The owners with the blue with the orange epaulets. You know them.
The park. The park.
Yes.
Midland Park.
That's it. That's it.
I actually rode plenty of winners in those colours myself back.
You did. I remember you once or twice before I ever knew you. You were a right man to follow on them colours for some reason.
Yeah, old Patrick has them.
But it looks now Ivory Madonna, she's gone 10-1 and running, 20-1 and running. So
good. Who won it? Did my tip win
here.
it? Did my tip win it?
Sorry?
Did my tip win it?
No. The funny story, the outsider of the whole field won it. So there's Ivory Madonna after getting beat. No, I haven't seen the race. We're just following it, betting and running. She never went short, so she never looked the winner. So that gives me even more confidence without seeing the race. Now, obviously, I have to just check back at the race that's just been ran there. But 𝗲𝗄𝗄𝗃, I think, could be one of the naps of the weekend now for me.
Right, definitely intriguing. I'm going to take a chance with 𝗲𝗄𝗃. I do think 𝗲𝗄𝗃 has rock solid form and definitely the one to beat. But Ralph Beckett's filly's done nothing wrong. She beat the right filly and she beat her well. It's just really good form. She's really well bred as well. Look, she's. I just think Frankie could have a nice filly here, and I do respect the David Egan filly because she kind of has it all in the book. And the filly that beat her in Ascot is a screamer. I tipped her up. She's a right one.
You did.
She just couldn't. She just literally kept. I don't know how she just kept quickening to the line to win her. Anyway, I'll take
to get within a few lengths of her. I thought was a big performance. So form is everything in this game.
Yeah, I thought if she was as good as that, if she was really as good as that run, I don't know how she's not 6-4, 5-4. You know what I mean?
She will be.
Yeah, she probably will. Well, there you go. She should be. She did touch 7.
Yeah, she's value. She's a great value bet now.
She did touch 7-4. She's drifted out to 9-4. I don't know. I do think. Look, I'll go with 𝗲𝗄𝗃 and see what happens. It's a race. I just want to notebook fillies after this race. These are all fillies that you'll be just notebooking for the future. Right. Let's touch on 2 other races, Joe. We're going to touch on the Kilbeggan National, the AXA Farm Midlands National. Not a race I have an absolute massive angle in on, but yourself, come on, you're a man now for the Irish jump race.
You know what it is. I like the way you're thinking. If he could ever learn how to jump properly, he'd be absolute shoe in here. But the fact of the matter is that he just is too clumsy over his fences. He meets one right, he look beautiful over a fence, and then when he meets one kind of a shade wrong, he makes a mess of it and loses too much momentum. Especially around Kilbeggan. We were there maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and around that chase track, you want to be doing everything right. Just think the big field might catch him out, but he is handicapped to run really well. He might be one for Galway, the Galway plate. But I do like 2 in this. I'm going to go two of them against the field. 𝗵𝗆, who back to form last time around Roscommon, nearly ran out actually at the 4th last when going to make a big fist of it. Was second behind a really nice mare of Lorna Fowler's. That's good form. If she runs to that form and maybe improves from it, she'll be bang there. And there's another one, obviously, 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗃, who, took his time to get used to jumping fences, but seems to have the hang of it now and has the back class to run a huge race here. Kieran Callahan clearly gets on very well with him, and he's taken off half a stone off his back. As I say, he's a classy enough horse, and I think he'll be bang there as well. That's the reverse forecast for me. 𝗵𝗆 and 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗃.
Like I said, I don't have a massive opinion on it, but I think Hurricane Georgie will bolt in. All right, I'll leave it at that. No, I'm thinking if she can just get round in an efficient manner in the first kind of 2 mile of this race, there's so many horses that just keep pressing forward here. It's endless. It's endless. There's going to be pace in this race. Every fence to jump, there's going to be a new leader. It's a place. I thought if Hurricane Georgie could hold any kind of, posse within 15-20 lengths of the leaders, she could run a massive race off a lightweight.
There's the TriCast then. We're up to get the TriCast.
There's the TriCast now, but I will say one thing. I could see another scenario where she's struggling from day one and can't get into the race. But I do feel like if you go through the race here, there's a lot of these big chasers that just like to go forward. They just all want to be forward. Battle Over Diane, Freewheeling Dylan, Fairy Hill Run, 𝗵𝗆, 𝗵𝗆𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 tend to be up there. And I just thought if she could just stay behind that line of battle and keep within a few lengths, I think she will be running on at the death. Is she scopy enough to win a race like this and survive the hustle and bustle of it? Probably not. I don't know. But anyway, we'll find out. Right.
She done well to win the last day. I know it was a weak race around Downpatrick compared to this race, but she did do well now. Probably trip a bit short for the last time. And she stuck to her guns really well, and she flew up that hill. She'll be thereabouts, all right.
Yeah, you don't normally see what horses get up, run down 2 or 3 the way she did the last day.
That's right.
No, she was gutsy. She was gutsy. I think for her, it all depends on the first kind of couple of miles. Can she navigate a safe trip? And if she can, then she'll definitely be staying on.
She was very well fancied Punchestown Festival last year, and she tipped up early. Remember that, all right?
Sick with her back. Right. And the race couldn't have been ran to suit her. 3 of them took each other.
Oh, she would have dollied them.
Three of them took each other on for the whole race. If she stood on her feet, she'd have come home like a Trojan horse. Right. Let me see what we have here. The last race is the fillies, the William Hill Summer Stakes, a Group 3 for fillies in York. Yeah. The Summer Hill Stakes. What are you thinking here, Joe Value? Flotus heads the betting. I see another filly is over as well. Teresa Mendoza, who finally got a win the last day. Tenya Canyon, not a bad filly. 𝗃𝗹𝗃𝗃𝗃. 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, definitely a decent filly. She had a good win at the track as well. But for me, it's all about Flawless. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Teresa Mendoza does my head in completely. I tipped her up a few times there last year, and she comes and wins a proper race then last time out. It was a bad miss for me the last time. I do like Flotus. Obviously, she's got the form of the book, and York should suit her ideally. She's going to take loads and loads of catching. One maybe without the favourite, I'm liking is Benefit, who I thought done really, really well. Cheveley Park filly done really, really well under John Fatty last time to win at Salisbury off a slow enough pace, quick enough like a real smart one. And Flotus could be long gone, but this one will be coming home very strong. And she might, get the each way money, or I'm going to have a few quid in her without Flotus. I don't want to be taking Flotus on. She's classy. I loved her as a 2-year-old. She seems to run really well now. But I like Benefit without the favourite.
Yeah, Benefit interesting, but was well beaten behind the Sense of Duty and Flotus and Haydock. But I do think just the one thing for me here is you are going to see Flotus's best performance on a track like York. That's what I'm thinking. That's just in my head. And if that's what we're going to get, then she's going to win. That's like it's pretty much that simple for me. If she gives her career best on a track like York, I think the rest of them will be chasing her home and the race is over. That's what I feel.
Imagine so, yeah.
You have 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃, who's a good filly who I actually tipped up to beat Flotus the first time. Flotus, but she, first run of the season, you can always forgive Flotus. What she's done since has been nothing wrong. She was second to a top class filly who has since franked the form did you see Sense of Duty's win in Newcastle? Oh my word, what a performance. She absolutely dollied up. So Flotus's run in Ascot, that kind of run on a track like York, should be good enough to win it. So hopefully she gets it done. Joe Value, that's about it.
Yeah, thanks, Paddy. Cheers for that. I appreciate it.
Unless you have anything else you want to talk about, because I kind of
not for the time being, no.
That's what we have there now. But yeah, some interesting racing, lads. Hopefully we've touched on some nice winners. I just want to say, if you would like to come on the previews with us in the future, we're going to be doing a preview every Thursday. If you think you're a shrewd judge, if you think you could preview the big races coming up at the weekend, we normally pick out 2 or 3. Come on and join us on the podcast. There will be an email address below. And like I said, we didn't manage to get a guest this week, but I do want to have a guest on every week to add a bit of fun to it, and we can have a bit of crack, pick a few winners and enjoy it. And then we also are going to be launching the Casual Fan Podcast, where I want to get people on to just chat about any sport, any topic, and have fun. Right, Joe Value, let's hopefully crush them this weekend and see how we get on. But really looking forward to it.
Yeah, same as that. Thanks, Paddy. Appreciate it.
Cheers.